Thursday morning, and it is the first week of 2021 work-wise. And, one of the things that I thought that I would come around with today a little bit is the path of clarity and, really truly finding clarity in what appears to be unusual or challenging times. I'm fortunate that I get to work with a lot of people that have goals and dreams, and we all do. I'm fortunate that I have the opportunity to get to serve and support others that want to create more. And, there's a lot of talk in the real estate industry or in any kind of, marketing industry right now where we see people that are talking about, being the very best. And there's nothing wrong with wanting more. I get to work with all different types of productivity levels, those that are brand new to the business and, having to get started in real estate, those that are, looking to create a little bit of momentum if they aren't quite where they're at with productivity. I'm also in an environment where I get to work with some really, really high level broker owners and team leaders, those that want to create an amazing experience for other people as far as a leadership role goes. And that is where it's always interesting, because you give me anybody that wants to create more and desires to do a little bit better inside and outside of real estate. And I think that is where we can look at clarity. And everybody has great intentions. But what I look to is, do we have the actions, the principles, and the understanding of our own personal foundation that are going to allow us to achieve more if that's truly what we desire? And right now, there's a lot of unknowns. But my question is, are you crystal clear on your vision for 2021? Are you crystal clear on your vision for 2021? And when I say that, what I mean is, do you have a picture perfect roadmap despite the circumstances not necessarily being perfect? See, today I want to talk about your goals and your dreams and really what truly gets in the way of that potential that we all have in an unlimited capacity and how to tap into that further. And so I thought I'd share a few principles that are, often unconventional. I don't do the traditional real estate type of mentoring, training, coaching. I find that, a lot of it's great, but not all of it works for me anyway. So I like to look at, the principles that I apply in my own space that I can then transfer to others that want to create a little bit more as well. And so the first thing I want to talk about was the path of clarity. I wrote a few of these down here. The path of clarity. And I hope that, if any of these serve you, then, this video serves its purpose. So the path of clarity says this, and this is really important in a time that, certain things are a little bit unclear. Path of clarity says this. Number one, in order to find clarity, we can do one of two things. We can wait patiently, and clarity will come. Or two, we can act swiftly, moving in a specific direction, making immediate choice, and clarity will also come. Because when you take action, you're going to get a result. You take lots of action, you're going to get lots of results. But ultimately, it comes down to what form of clarity are you seeking? Do you want to wait patiently through this process? Or do you want to take immediate action, moving in a different direction, and find how clarity comes? I will share that those that have been waiting patiently over the last, over a year now, or close to a year, have not necessarily found the clarity that they seek. They're not moving swiftly in the right direction, which ultimately creates more momentum. And so these are things to examine as you start to look at the clarity for yourself. Number two, identify where you're at. It doesn't matter if you are a brand new real estate agent or a brand new team leader or a brand new broker owner. It doesn't matter if you are selling 5 homes a year or 500 homes a year. One of my clients a couple weeks ago said, 2021, we are selling 500 homes a year, and that is amazing. If you give me somebody like that, wonderful. if you give me somebody that's only selling 5 homes a year, but has the clarity and the commitment and the relentless pursuit of the truth and awareness about themselves in order to do so, even better. And so when you look at 4 simple pillars that I've identified over the years in terms of, looking at where you're at, examining it as a witness, not a judge, just an observation, you have your foundation, okay, your personal and real estate foundation, personal and real estate foundation. Examining exactly where you're at, where you want to go. Do you have that vision? What might be getting in the way of you creating the happiness, freedom, and results-based productivity that you not only desire, but quite frankly, you deserve. And we all do. Number 2, predictable business cultivation. Predictable business cultivation. There are so many new ideas out there in this industry. There are so many things that are designed, quite frankly, both inside and outside of real estate, to distract us. It's that shiny object syndrome. And so, do you have predictable forms of business cultivation that have been proven irrefutably time and time again to generate real estate success? They can be very simplistic in nature, but the path is in the math. So can you track, measure, and improve any of the principles that you're applying as far as a strategy to generate more business? Predictable business cultivation. Number 3, your back-end systems and processes. What are you backing your leadership with? What are you backing your sales team with? What are you backing your brokerage with? What are you backing your real estate sales business with, that is systematic, process-oriented, that allow you to move into the next pillar, which is eventually, in an ideal, assessing, scaling, and leveraging to more. Assessing, scaling, and leveraging to more. Everybody wants to go to number 4 first. That's what we're being sold on in this industry. It's nonstop information overload coming at us. And so where are you at in those 4 key pillars and really truly getting transparent? Because if you don't have the first one built, that foundation, both personally and inside of your business, it's like you're building on a house of cards. And eventually, as you try and scale further, that house of cards usually crumbles. Trust me, I have been there several times. And so looking at that foundation, looking at those foundational principles of the self, when it comes to responsibility and time and the choices we make inside of our time, looking at the foundational principles of leadership. I had conversations right before the new year with almost all of my high-level producers. And the question I had posed was, what type of leader are you? Are you a top-down leader? Are you a family-oriented leadership style? Are you a thought leader? The majority of people don't know what type of leader that they are. And so when we're looking for clarity, examining some of these key foundational principles is crucial in order to create more inside of the environment. If we don't know what type of leadership we possess, and we lead our clients as sales representatives and realtors all the time, if we don't know what type of leadership that we possess, how can we possibly move forward with momentum? It's finding the clarity inside of that as well. Those 4 key pillars are a very, very specific path to productivity. And so oftentimes in real estate or in the world or life, we hear about the word karma. It's very mainstream. And karma is basically the law of cause and effect in action. And the law of cause and effect says that every action that we take has a consequence, both positive and negative. What goes around comes around, or the golden rule. You've heard all of this about karma. Real estate has a lot of karma to it because it's a very circular type of business. And karma is a very, very circular energy. It's very cyclical in nature. And so oftentimes what happens with realtors or anybody in some form of sales is, We find out something that works and we start taking some action. We take some action and we end up getting a result because guess what? We did the work. And as we do the work, we start getting busy with the results that we desire, such as a real estate client or a transaction or a commission. And sometimes we have great results because we're doing lots of the work, we're taking lots of the action. But all of a sudden, we stop doing that work. We get back into that space where we need to figure out something else or we need to recommit to the work. And it's very circular in nature. That's why us realtors have these huge peaks and valleys if we're not aware to this stuff. It's like anything. Many people talk about karma. Very few talk about Dharma. And Dharma, Dharma, if you've never explored that for yourself, is the law of purpose. And the law of purpose indicates that anything and everything on this planet has a purpose. When we work in purpose, we tend to be more intentional. And when we get more intentional, we tend to take more action. When we take more action, we tend to get more results. And of course, when we get more results, we get to serve a greater purpose. Purpose can be anything, whether it is, your family, your friends, your clients, charity, contribution, watching TV if that's your thing. But understanding your purpose means that you're going to understand that you're working in more of a linear path. That's where those 4 pillars are important, because jumping around doesn't really work in purpose. It's more circular, it's more karmic. When we look at the linear path, it requires us to do the next right thing after the next right thing after the next right thing, moving down that linear path, moving down that path of progress, moving down that place of productivity and momentum. And it is not perfect. There are setbacks. There are times where we step backwards. It's staying in that high state of awareness that's going to help us get to more. That's what purpose is, whatever that is for you. Are you making the next right choice, examining as a witness, not a judge, what needs to happen next in order for you to have that crystal clear momentum path unfold for you in 2021? Because if we're still focused on the past of 2020, it's not going to happen. So where are you at in current space and time? Where do you need to go? And what must happen in between making the next right choice after the next right choice in order for you to get there? Karma versus Dharma. And again, when we focus on the past, when we focus on everything that is going on outside of our inner experience, which is very common right now, it tends to expand. What we focus on expands. This may not be something that resonates with all of you, but if you are continually focused on these worldly events, if you are continually focused on what's going on with U.S. politics and you're living in Canada, if you're continually focused on, every negative situation that's going on in the world, it's going to expand. At least it is in your own reality. I choose to pay attention to other things. Feelings are a choice. What we focus on is a choice. Having a crystal clear vision is a choice. And so what choices are you making today in terms of what you are focused on? I want to focus on the highest levels of productivity. I want to focus on positivity. I want to focus on goodness. And as we move through this, it's going to support in getting rid of some of this negative karmic energy that keeps swirling as far as debris goes. It revolves and involves creating boundaries. Boundaries on people, places, and things. People, places, and things. And not only that, though, because that's thrown around a lot, your thoughts. What boundaries must you create with your own personal thoughts in order for you to experience the happiness, freedom, and results-based productivity that you desire and deserve? What is coming up in your own personal experience, your own internal environment that you have to create a boundary on? Again, be a witness, not a judge to the self. Number 6, heart trumps skill and talent all day long. Okay, you can look around the real estate environment and talk about, the elite or the high performers, and wonderful, good for you. I've worked with a pile of them, and in my own experience, I've had high levels of real estate productivity and been miserable at times. You can have the highest performers, like I said. What I'm looking for is people that want to create more momentum at any level possible, that have that grit and determination. Prime example was our World Juniors the other night. We've got one of, if not the most dominant hockey team in junior Canadian history. Dominant, perfect leading up to the big game. And the USA came out and smoked us, irrefutably smoked us, because they came with heart, they came with hustle, they came with grit, they came with determination, they came with all of the things that for any of you in your untapped potential inside of this business is possible. For any one of you that are out there that are challenged or struggling, or facing circumstances that are being focused on that are completely out of your control, focus on the self, find out how to build your own momentum, because ultimately motivation lies within. You can get inspired by other people, but motivation lies within. And if you have that heart, you have that grit, you have that determination with the crystal clear path, you're going to get a result. Contribution. In any space, one of the greatest things that you can do to find clarity is to help somebody. If you are down and out, if you are, challenged with some of life's greatest experiences, which we all go through, whether it is low self-worth, whether it's addiction, whether it's a relationship challenge, whether it is being scrutinized or criticized or judged, whether it is, a real problem that seems to be appearing in your life, go help somebody. That's the easiest way out. Find somebody that you can contribute to today. That's where I talk about impact versus profit. How do I wake up each and every day and impact somebody before I have a profit? How do I, in other words, help somebody? If you're not crystal clear on where you need to go, working in that purpose, building momentum, find somebody to help today. I guarantee that will flip your whole switch. Distraction. Again, we are in an information overload society. You're being hammered. We're being hammered with new apps, new strategies, new tactics, new books, new webinars, new seminars, new training, new. And it's working against you because you're focused on it, you're buying into it, and it's called the law of averages. The media marketing that's coming at you as to what's going to help you get ahead in real estate right now is working in the law of averages, which means that you are going to focus on the things that don't truly work because they seem easier to do. This is hard work. You want to go to that high level, it's going to require some work. And the funny thing is that the simplest of principles, and they're ancient principles, of contribution, of impacting other people, of serving and supporting before, during, and after the transaction, and some very simplistic real estate strategies in nature are going to be the only things that you need to drive your income result in 2021. So stop being misled, stop being distracted, and take number 9, full personal responsibility for every single outcome that you've ever created. Not easy. If you know my story, I've had to take some serious responsibility in the last couple of years. Serious. But you know what? Right, wrong, or the other, it's the outcome that I created. What is it for you that you need to own? Because if you own your outcomes, you can change them. If you don't, you can't. That's just the nature of the beast. And so owning your outcomes in a place of responsibility, along with understanding responsibility in its fullest. See, responsibility and response go hand in hand. Response is rooted in responsibility versus what we call reaction. And I hope, for the sake of our industry, people stop reacting so much, reacting to what others are doing, reacting to what their viewpoints are, and if somebody has a different opinion. I mean, come on. If everybody had the same opinion, this life would be pretty boring. Stay in a place of responsibility. Pause before you make that judgment call. Pause before you criticize somebody for what they're doing. Pause and try and be empathetic, compassionate, show some sympathy. Pause. That's responsible versus reaction. Finally, ascension. A lot of people talk about the law of association. The law of association says that we become like an average of the 5 people we surround ourselves with the most. Who's in your circle right now that is getting in the way of the happiness, freedom, and results-based productivity that you desire and deserve? There are huge answers inside of that. I see a lot of people making different moves. I've been fortunate to welcome some great new people into my organization. And I see a lot of people reacting to that inside of our environment. Who cares? Here's what makes up a good real estate organization: leadership, training, culture, and that's it. Leadership, training, culture, and that's it. So if you want to choose your surroundings, consider this. Is the person that you're working with as your leader, or in a management space, or in a training space, somebody that you resonate with, and that they resonate with you from a leadership perspective? Do they know what type of leader they are? In their leadership, have they walked the talk? I mean, if you're looking at somebody that, is looking to build their sales business, I would suggest finding somebody that's had that experience before you. That's called ascension. Ascension. Finding out others, seeking out others that have had the experience before you, rather than the law of averages. And we know that the law of averages shows that the average realtor across North America sells less than 5 homes a year. If that's your goal, cool. But if it's not, seek out others that will fan your flames, fan your fire, whether it's in your brokerage space, whether it's in a coaching space, whether it's in your business and networking circles, whatever it is, find those to ascend with rather than not. But don't judge others for what they're doing, because ultimately different people are going to resonate for different people. Different models are going to resonate for different models. And, when you look at leadership, training, and culture, that's what you get to explore. Is the leader that I'm working under somebody that's going to teach me or show me or help me where I want to go? Am I going to ascend with them? Am I getting the appropriate and required training and support that I need in order to serve myself, whether it's personally or in my real estate business at the highest level? Do I want something more than just the typical canned real estate training, or do I want to, create a whole life, a whole business? Is somebody going to show me that or help me in getting there? Am I going to have to invest in myself in order to do so? Yes. And culture. And these can be applied for all of your real estate models, whether you are a sales representative or realtor, whether you are a team leader, whether you're a broker owner, whether you're a coach, mentor, trainer. What kind of leader am I? How am I going to train my people? And what kind of culture am I going to provide? Because human connectivity is more important than ever. And who am I as a leader going to ascend with constantly? Learning, growing, and evolving is a constant. And so my hope for you as you move forward after what was an unusual day yesterday, but hey, our world has been a little bit unusual over the last year, is to get clear, crystal frickin' clear as you move through it. And remember, if you want to build momentum, you've got to be constantly pouring gas on the fire. I hope this serves you today, and I hope that you have an amazing rest of your first week of 2021.